What's up, peeps? Nick Battle, aka Nino's Corner, man. We are here with the SEC Connect. We got everybody in today except Ty. I don't know why Steven and Chris dropped off when we just started this thing, but I mean, look, we got 13 people in the room, man. Press that like button. It's probably gonna get up to 100, maybe 200. Hopefully tonight again. But look, like, comment, subscribe, and share this channel. Like I said, myself, Steven, Chris, Jay. What's going on, fellas?
What it do, kinfolk? It's crazy. We got like all of like the incumbent SEC folks on today without an actual legacy SEC guy.
Yeah.
Wow,
right? Oh man. No. Oh, Hank saying, are we waiting on the Texas guys? No, we're always waiting on Sir Chris down there. But just kind of breaking this down. The reason why we're waiting on Chris today is because Chris has a special present for us. So I'm going to go ahead and showcase that. So just so everybody can see exactly what Chris wants to show all of us SEC fans.
Go ahead, gang. Turn the volume up a little notch. You know what I'm saying?
Turn the volume. Oh, hold on. Quentin, appreciate the dub, man. Oh, man, that's what's up.
Wow.
Yeah, Quentin, appreciate
it. Oh, man. Hate.
There you go.
Hate.
All right, man. Everybody ready for Chris's presentation?
Let's give it to us.
Let's make it happen.
You need to be more like a dog. We don't need a bunch of cats in here looking in the mirror. Do I look good? I got my extra bands on. I got my other shoes on. Be a dog. We don't need no meows. We don't need no cats. We need more dogs.
Howdy, y'all. Well, did you miss me? Go on and say I told you so. Yeah, now I know the straight.
First up, we got Joe Milton. Buddy throws the football like Tarzan, but overall, he plays like Jane. It's been 6 years in the making. Congrats, Joe. You made the list. You're a certified bum. Imagine going from this to this. I can't believe this is the guy that is going to replace Bijan Robinson. Jonathan Brooks, you may be a dog in Nino's Corner, but around here, buddy, you're a certified bum. Now, this man traveled cross country to get away from me, but no worries, I found you, Spencer. Spencer Sanders has never seen a wide receiver that he did not think was open. Double coverage, triple coverage, who the cares? You can trade the orange for the powdered blue, but Spencer Sanders, you're still a certified bum. Now, I can't talk about Spencer Sanders and not get on Gundy. This man has single-handedly tried to sabotage his own program. Most recently, Buddy hired a defensive coordinator that wants to run a 3-3-5. Outside of Oliver and Daniels, who the hell do you have? Gundy, this is your third defensive coordinator in 3 years, and this is the best you can do? I'm sorry, you're a certified bum. Peyton Thorne, go ahead and step up. This man is hot garbage on a cold Saturday in Minnesota in early January. Steven tried to tell me about how this man put up good numbers at Michigan State. Have you seen anything in these highlights that says he's good? You know what? Here's my fanatic perspective. Peyton Thorne is a certified bum. Okay, so here's the rest of the bums. Nothing major here, as you can see, just a couple of non-factors.
Oh, really? JT Sanders.
That USC defense couldn't cover a hot plate with aluminum foil. Here's a fun fact for you, though. Bo Nix's middle name is Chapman. That sounds about as pedestrian as he's played. All right, folks. Last but not least, got to talk about the dogs. No highlights needed here, just dogs. To top the list, got to put Drake Stoops up there. He's had the career that Jordan Whittington could only dream about. You see Michael Pratt and Cam Rising on the list. Both of these fellas have taken country boy ass whippings and gotten right back up. All right, let's go to the second page. Look, please, for the love of God, Hugh, play Robbie. Please play Robbie. Free that man. If you choose to play Peyton Thorne, and we may need another kick six to get up out of there. All right, there you have it, folks. Dogs and bums, the list.
All right, Chris. Really? That's what we're doing today?
I'm going to say that was not only hilarious, but so out of pocket.
That's what we're doing
in
today?
so many capacities. Like, wow.
Hey, man,
That's where we're
Look
at.
here, Chris.
I call it how I see it. All right. I call it how I see it.
Hey, Steven, I got to come in defense of our dudes, man. I saw this video today around 5:30. Around 6 o'clock, I said, I got an hour. What can I do? So I started to come up with my own DAWG versus BUMS list.
Are you? Whoa. Hey.
Wait, did you just make a video too? Oh, Lord.
Look, hey, man, I just made a video literally in like 30 minutes.
Oh, my God.
And this is for...
We already have the clap back going? That's record time.
This is for Kchris with a K. You know what I'm talking about? DAWG versus BUMS. Nino Corner style.
Man, nobody wants to see a documentary, man.
It ain't no documentary. It's a minute and a half. Yours is 3.5 minutes. Let's go ahead and get it. That's that DAWG JT Sanders. Look at this right here, Chris. Look at it right there, Chris. That's a DAWG right there, Chris. Look at that. Look at that. That's a DAWG, Chris. That's a DAWG, Chris. Look at this right here, Chris. JT Sanders. DAWG. Ooh, there it is. There it is. I got one more for you, Chris.
What a throw on the seam.
Look at it right there.
It's pretty well covered. It's pretty well defended. It's really
look at this other one right
Okay, so I got to watch all this propaganda. Like, what are we doing here?
Blame Chris.
You playing again, Chris? Oh, look at them bombs.
I didn't even.
Oh, man, look at these bombs. Look at these bombs right here. Look at that jump, Debo. What is that? Bomb! Bomb!
Hey.
I ain't done, Chris. I ain't done. Look at this bomb right here.
anything,
Look at this
absolutely
bomb.
anything they
Look at
can.
that bomb. Look at that. Bomb!
And it's an interception. It is Deshaun Jameson. He's going to be sacked again.
Again.
Oh, dog. Jay Brooks.
Oh, my
You find
God.
out a lot about the guys you're going to build your program with in the future. In situations
Certified
like
dog.
this. It's difficult when you don't really know who you are.
Oh, look
Like
at that.
quality
Look at
defense.
that.
This how we opening this up.
Look at that.
Another Texas touchdown,
That's a
Jonathan.
dog right there.
Certified dog.
That's a dog right there. Look at these bombs. Look at them OU fans.
Went with the
Look at these
pop
bombs.
pass, and Jadae
Look at that
Barron
bombs.
picks it off.
Chris will never send you something in advance ever again.
Ooh, 49-0. Nino's Corner. That's how we're going to start this show off today, folks. DAWG versus BUMS. Chris had to send it to me. I couldn't let him slide like that, player. I had an hour to do that. I knocked it out in about 35 minutes, man. That's DAWG versus BUMS. NC edition, baby.
That's fine. A little touche. You saw who the BUMS were. I didn't even go hard on JT Sanders. I just put him on there. I mean, it's not a factor, but I will say this. You know, Gundy, Spencer Sanders. I'm sorry, I had to do it. It is what it is. You know, it is what it is. Peyton Thorne. That was just my fanatic perspective. So I'm just letting you know. Okay.
I love that he's throwing shade with the fanatic perspective.
Oh, man. Hey, that was good. He did say Jonathan
Well
Brooks
done,
is a dog
Nino.
in Nino's Corner's eye, but he's a bum on my list. You ain't going to talk about Jay Brooks like that.
I just let you know.
Y'all wow, man.
Shout
Y'all
out
wow.
to Quentin again, by the way, for the super chat up top. Like I know you guys thanked him
You got
earlier.
another super chat?
No. I was saying just shout out to Quentin again because he be outside and sometimes he says some things that I can't put on the channel. So I appreciate his
Yeah, he
donations.
said a whole bunch of stuff. All right, guys, we got 66 people in here, man. Go like this video, man. We started off with a little bit of gold this morning. Well, not this morning, this evening. A lot of fun. Chris had a great video. I think mine was better because mine was, just truer. But
Well done, fellas.
Wow. He said truer. Done with you guys. Great time as usual, though. This is,
Luke, I will die on that hill. I will die on that hill by myself.
That non-factor had 3 touchdowns on that porous ass OU defense. Bums.
They said, hey, they're mad at me because I put Brock Bowers at number 5. Hey, man, look. Brock Bowers is a guy, but I got to put Drake up there and Cam Rising and Michael Pratt, man.
Here we go. Drake Stoops. We talking about Drake Stoops. That's like we talking about
Drizzle.
practice. All right, guys. We did the DAWG versus BUMS, man. Chris, good job. Week 1 previews. All right, let me go ahead and share the
these
screen.
big games.
Let's look at the week 1 previews. There's really only 2 games we need 3 games that we should probably, just kind of take a look at. The SEC football schedule we got here. 2 games that are kind of importance. Florida versus Utah. I think everybody else is going to win their games. And then the last one is LSU versus Florida State. But if we want to, folks, we can go ahead and talk about the Vanderbilt-Hawaii game that just happened this past week, during week 0. And I'll start it off with the Vanderbilt-Hawaii game.
And Nino, as you're talking through these, I will say, I know in terms of matchups, like you said, it's really the LSU Florida State game and the Florida Utah game. But if we could go quickly, like we're going to do with Vanderbilt Hawaii, just things we want to see from these teams. For example, Tennessee, Virginia, there's some things obviously we're going to want to see from Joe, right?
Exactly.
Right off the bat.
Right.
Most definitely. We could do that. All right, folks. Vanderbilt Hawaii. I sat there and watched this game. I forgot the game came on, to be honest with you, but I caught it in the second quarter. And I watched.
And they were on delay.
Yeah. And
a long delay.
Man, they were up, like quite a bit. I think they're up like 35-14 going into the fourth quarter, and Hawaii came back storming. They brought it to within a touchdown. I think with 2.5 minutes left, Hawaii had a chance to actually come down and win the game, and they threw a pick at the last, like 90 seconds or so. But good game. Vanderbilt has lost a lot from that team. I think they're starting running back now plays. Is it Kentucky, folks, or it's one of the teams in the SEC?
Kentucky.
Huh?
Kentucky.
Yeah. So, yeah, man. Honestly, I was surprised by the team speed from Vanderbilt. It was against Hawaii, so it's going to look different against Hawaii than it is against a Florida, or a Tennessee. But good game overall. Very competitive game. Very disciplined for the first 3 quarters. They got a little bit sloppy in that fourth quarter, but not a bad team at all. It's still a Vanderbilt, probably just a 5-win team this year, but just good season football.
I think that I'll kind of disagree with that point. I think that offensively they have some guys. I think Will Shepherd is a guy out there. I want to say that's his name, the wide receiver, right? They got a couple of weapons on the offense that Vanderbilt is going to give some people problems. They believe it's confidence. With a team like that, y'all know how it is. We play in the Big 12. Whenever we're better than the West Virginias, Texas Techs, and the Kansas States and stuff like that of the world, those teams still come out there with confidence that they're more physical than you, or they're doing something in the area that doesn't necessarily show up all the time in the stat book, right? So, or on stat sheet. So for me, I thought that Vanderbilt looked good offensively, defensively, still some woes, still a lot to work on. You can't. Here's what I'll say. I like Hawaii's offense. Timmy Chang knows exactly what he's doing. Hell, he put up all those numbers there. He's basically running probably the same exact offense. If it wasn't Hawaii, if he was anywhere else, if he was an offensive coordinator somewhere, he'd probably be one of the hottest names in America right now. I think he knows what he's doing offensively. It's Hawaii, though. But at the same time, I'll say this. Hawaii has no business scoring 28 points on Vanderbilt. It does not matter. That was supposed to be a season opening can of whoop ass that they were supposed to basically just hand out. And that did not happen. So, I mean, yeah, there was a point where the game was, they were up by 14, but hell, you see they only won by 7.
No, and, honestly, they were up by 21.
Yeah.
21. They got sloppy at the end.
Hawaii had a chance to make it interesting. I think they couldn't convert when it was like a couple of days since I watched the highlights, but still, I'll say this. Vanderbilt, you're gonna have to kill their confidence because they got a pep in their step this year. And I think that offensively, those wide receivers, they got some weapons on the offense. They got some really good weapons at the skill position. So it's going to be really interesting to see how they continue their season. But like you said, I would say somewhere between 5 and 7 wins. I think they get bowl eligible, though. I do think they get bowl eligible this year.
Possibly, yeah. Any other comments on the Vanderbilt game?
I'll keep it short because we're spending a significant amount of time on it.
Hey, don't hate.
AJ Swan looked pretty good, all things considered. They got sloppy at the end on defense. They gave up an onside kick. that made it dramatic and everything. But the bottom line is, this is a team from a confidence standpoint. To Chris's point, they beat Florida last year. They beat Kentucky last year in the SEC East. They're not a step over program or somebody that you just look past. Ray Davis, who's now the running back at Kentucky, I think they're feeling that loss. But overall, you're just happy to get away with a win. Also, I'm week 0, week 1 delays. We went through this Texas and Maryland. We lost. There's weird, funky things happening and weather and all this type of stuff. So some of these things just get cleaned up over the first few weeks. I think you got to see a little bit more football to notice a trend or something, so to speak. But good win for Vanderbilt.
Yep, good win for him. Jay, anything for you, man?
Vanderbilt won a game and gave up 28 points to Hawaii. I think that's a problem. What's the next game?
Next.
Well put.
Next, Aroni. Okay, let's talk about Utah and Florida, man. Game tomorrow night at 8:00. Utah coming in, that's the number 14 team in the country. Florida unranked. Florida starting Graham Mertz. Cam Rising is not playing for Utah in this game. What do you guys' thoughts about this one?
Jaquindon Jackson time, baby. From the way that this Utah system is built, the way that they finished out last year, the physicality in which he was running the football, I'm really excited for his opportunity to be showcased. Utah, I mean, when you look at what they've done and over the last few years, especially in the trenches and how physical they play, I think it's going to be really, really interesting against that Florida defensive line. That's something I'm really going to be paying a lot of attention to, especially since I'm really high on Princely this year on that D-line. I think Princely's going to be able to make some money this year and proving he's one of the better edges in the league. But I'm excited to see Jaquindon go out there and ball, especially without, they lost Kincaid. The other tight end, it sounds like he might be banged up too, or might be out as well. So, man, Utah's in a tough spot here. Even though they're what, 4.5-point favorites?
Yeah.
Right now?
Yep.
If Cam Rising's playing, I think this is 6.5, nearing 7 points. With that experience coming back. But Florida did win this game last year at home with Anthony Richardson. So we'll see what Utah does. What Utah does tomorrow night.
Hey, so I'm gonna jump in here and say this. It really depends on Stevens' boy, Graham Mertz. Mertz has to be terrific tomorrow.
Why is he my boy? I'm not a Mertz guy.
Look. No. All jokes aside, though, no. I think Graham Mertz has to come out there and he has to have a good presence. He doesn't have to play a perfect game, but it can't just be 3 and out. In my opinion, I have the strongest gut feeling that this is going to be one of those basically just slugfest where it's just 3 and out. In my opinion, I think the first team to 14 points probably wins the game, to be honest with you, simply because I just don't know what Cam Rising has behind him at quarterback to really lead them out there. But I do know that Utah is going to play a physical brand of football. I do know that if they are able to establish the run, that's going to be a problem for Florida. And the thing about it is that Florida's not playing at home. And I think that's a big part of it. I think that you don't need perfect play from either quarterback, from the backup or from Graham Mertz. But what you need is somebody who's going to go out there and be Alex Smith, be a true game manager, move the ball, be able to get us in position to score, whether that's a field goal or that is a touchdown. I just don't know. I think this is going to be a slugfest. They're just going to go back
to your
slobbering knocker.
Chris, to your point, though, it's not like this isn't new news for Utah. That's the good thing here. Like, they've had a lot of time to prepare for. I mean, Cam Rising got hurt last season, so they've had all offseason to have, their backup quarterback situation ready for this game and to start early in the season, right? So, this is still, what Kyle's done there over year. I think, whatever their plan is, I think it's going to be a lot of Jaquindon Jackson, but they should be, ready to roll regardless.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about you, Jay?
The over-under is 44.5 points.
That's,
so,
you know what? That's what,
22? That is low.
22 to, 24 to 20, so that is low, man.
So, Steven, I'm glad you mentioned that. That's probably going to that's leading directly into my point with this game. So, Cam Rising isn't playing. But you also got to remember, we have the new clock rules going on where the clock is constantly running.
Facts.
So if you actually want to make some money, if you're a degenerate like I am and gamble on sports, you want to make money, bet the under on all these games this weekend. Vegas has no clue how that clock is going to affect these games. Like, for example, Notre Dame was 50 and it ended at 45 because of the clock. It's
That's
like
true.
It's so many games are going to be like that. Now, USC is a different story. Granted, they gave up 28 points at San Jose State. Sounds familiar to me, but we're in a situation where these over-unders are going to be tough for them to figure out. So if you want to make money at 44.5, take the under. Just because the clock's probably going to run a lot, especially if Florida gets up big. But now, granted, I'm going to say this, though, and this is my last point on this game. I still have more faith in Utah than I have in Florida right now, just today. Next season might be a different story because I think Billy might get everything in line. But Florida's what, a 5.5 win total this year from Vegas?
Yeah.
So obviously they have zero belief in them. But I think they think this Utah game is one of those W's. So if that's the case, Florida might be a good bet at the plus 4.5. But I'm thinking Utah covers the spread. I think Utah wins this game, regardless of who's throwing the ball.
Jay, I have a question for Jay. You think the Florida Gator fans are going to be okay with what you just said of, hey, they lose the game or whatever, without knowing that this Utah team is not only had guys that went to the NFL last year, but they are missing their starting quarterback. You think people are going to be – you're going to start to hear – I feel like you're going to start to hear, the Billy Napier jokes loud and I mean –
it's going to sound like when Charlie Strong
is exactly what they're going to be talking about, right? Like,
bring it. I'm just saying. I got to see what they look like first. I don't know.
It's going to be interesting. First off, I want to address the comment here. So Andy Jones put up here, that Utah wins big. Cam Rising is underrated. Hey, Andy, Cam Rising is out for that game tomorrow. So this is going to even the playing field. He's not playing. My crazy thing about this one, I think this really does even the playing field because Cam Rising's backup, if I'm not mistaken, is Bryson Barnes. And I just did a quick search on him. He's a walk-on. So do we have Stetson Bennett 2.0 or do we have a normal
See what I'm saying?
walk-on?
You see what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying? So can Graham Mertz outplay a walk-on? Utah had a lot of talent go to the league last year. I'm a big Jackson fan. I think Jackson's going to run the ball like crazy in this game. But don't sleep on Florida's running backs. Etienne is back there. Johnson is back there as well. They are returning some guys. Their line is not the best, but this game's going to be a lot closer than I think people are saying. And Kchris might be up to something. It might be whoever gets the first 17 points wins this game.
Yeah.
Don't sleep on Bryson Barnes. He actually played in both their Rose Bowl games.
Did he? But what did he do?
He threw touchdowns in both games because Cam Rising was running around like a crash dummy.
He was like a crash dummy.
And remember, the first time against Ohio State, that guy came in, and we thought that's when we were getting mad because Jaquindon was still in the quarterback room. Yeah. And we were like, damn, Jaquindon got passed by a walk-on. Then that guy got in the game again when he tore his ACL and did okay.
Okay.
So
I get what you're saying, but he was 2 for 2 for 23 yards.
Hey, bottom line, who do you have in the game? Jay, keep scoring. Who do you have in this game this week? No, tomorrow.
I got who, me?
Everybody.
I'm gonna go Utah. I'm gonna go Utah. I think their defense is going to be too strong for them.
I got
But-
Utah as well.
But man, Florida won it last year. Mind you, they had Anthony Richardson, but Florida only won 5 games last year with Anthony Richardson, or 6 games last year.
Okay, is Graham Mertz gonna go out there and do a 360 in the air and throw a touchdown?
No, Chris, but now the playing feels even because Cam Rising's not playing.
Ain't no damn playing field even. Hell, it took them the best game that they had last year to beat them.
Yeah,
Stop
it took in the
playing,
best game
man.
they had with Cam Rising at quarterback. Now
Oh.
we got 1-star walk-on Stetson Bennett 2.0 trying to be as the quarterback for Utah. I do love Jaquindon Jackson, though. I've loved watching him play ever since he was at Duncanville. So I still got Utah winning the game. I got Utah winning the game, but it's going to be close.
Here's the thing. I got Utah winning the game, but I feel like because of the situation with the injuries and with the players that are lost, this is a must-win game for Billy Napier. I'm telling you, these people are going to look at this and say you couldn't beat a backup walk-on quarterback at Utah. I'm not. That's how they're going to look at it. I'm not saying us as objective fans. They're going to come back. They're going after Sunbelt Billy. That's what they're going to start calling him, Sunbelt Billy, and turn on this man because they're going to say, "Dude, you couldn't capitalize on Utah early in the season." Without a quarterback, knowing how hard our schedule is, like you got to sneak this one out. I'm just
look at Hank's comments. Doubtful that Mertz can outplay a punter. That's messed up, Hank.
For Billy Napier's sake, he needs to be 1-0
That's my
tomorrow.
boy. Yeah, that's pretty good, Hank. That's fire right there.
Oh my God.
He's like, hey, is he? And look, after this game, we will know whether or not Graham Mertz is a certified bum. All right.
Yeah, fair point.
Yeah, fair point. You're gonna have a new list next week, Chris?
I may have a once every 2 weeks. I may have a new list. I may have to update the list of bombs.
All right. Are we done with the Florida Utah game?
Yeah.
Yep.
Man,
All right. Next one, man, is South Dakota at Missouri. What are you guys' thoughts on this one?
We won't know anything about Missouri until they play K-State the third game of the year. It's going to be a hell of a game right there. I think that's going to be a good one. I think they play in Mizzou as well, but
yeah,
come on, man. This is come on. That's just I think we just chalk that one up and keep moving to Tennessee.
Yeah,
Completely agree with Chris. The only thing you look at with games like this, and there's a couple more on here, just health. Make sure you got nobody of significance gets hurt. You get out safe and beat up the opponent.
Yeah.
Get the work you need in for the tune-up.
Exactly. How about you, Jay?
Who's y'all's picks?
It's gonna be Missouri.
Okay. Who else? Is this a consensus?
Yeah.
This is the consensus.
Okay, so why are we talking about South Dakota? I'm just curious.
No.
I mean, I understand that it is Mizzou, and we do have a reason to ask questions. But if Mizzou loses this game, man, they need to fire that entire staff that day one. Williams Ranieri needs to go ahead and just change his commitment. And we shouldn't even be talking about them, is my point. Mizzou, man, they better blow them out.
They play tomorrow? They probably watching that bum fight.
Yeah, the only thing that
it's on the SEC network.
Yeah. The only thing that I want to see in this game is Luther Burden. I just want to see how great he is, because he is a great guy, man. He can ball, man. So I might flip it on there, at a commercial break or something in that Florida Utah game, and to see how Burden's tearing.
I don't know, because Nebraska and Minnesota is playing tomorrow. I'm all eyes on that room, man.
I know.
I want to hear Chris's thoughts on Tennessee versus Virginia.
Yeah, let's do it, Chris. Come on, let me hear your thoughts on this one.
Okay. Well,
God.
There's
y'all gonna let this hate come in here?
You said what?
Y'all gonna let this hater can start talking now?
I'm not a hater. I'm being realistic. This is what you have to understand. Okay, I'm just being very realistic with you. There's a bunch of bombs on the field, all over the field. Well, no, 2 main bombs. First off, you got Tony Elliott still coming out there running that sprint run, and I just hate it. Every time I see it, I'm just like, it's the worst play in America. Then you got Joe Milton on the other side. This is a great test for him. Jay, he's gonna have to pass this test with flying colors. Tennessee should win this game by 20 points. I don't know though. It's I don't know. I just don't know. He makes me so nervous, man. He makes me so nervous. Every time he throws a deep pass, I'm like, oh, that's a touchdown. Anytime you ask him to complete 5 straight intermediate passes of less than 15 or less yards, I promise to God he won't be able to do it. I don't know, Jay. It's a tough day for Tennessee.
Is he picking Virginia? Hey, Jay, who's he picking?
I haven't picked Virginia. I'm gonna rock with Tennessee, but I'm gonna say it's gonna be a tough one. I think that if they do win,
They're gonna sweat this game out. What's the spread?
He's saying they're going to sweat this game out.
Oh man, I done heard it.
My people, we're listening to Kchris here say that Tennessee's going to sweat this game out against Virginia. Wow.
Oh man,
That's crazy.
Now Tennessee runs the table on this one. They're 28-point favorites in this game. Why are we
28 points?
Yeah.
This is going to be a shellacking. Joe Milton's going to look like he looked against Clemson in the Orange Bowl. They're going to walk. They're going to dog walk this game. It's done. And it's in Nashville.
You're going to see Nico play in this game.
Yeah, Nico's
going to play in this game.
Yeah, probably to start the second half.
Yes, because of the score. It'll be 28-0 at halftime.
Kchris, you have a hate for me.
He has a vendetta, man. Like, what did Joe Milton do to you?
Also,
he didn't call your girl, did he?
The intermediate stuff, they're running the Ver and shoot, man. They're throwing that thing. They popping that thing downfield, brother. Like this is gonna be.
That's fine. That's you know what that's fine. That's fine. We'll see. It took them 6 years to get to this point, so it's now or never. So right. It is what it is.
I got Tennessee covering. I'm with Jay. I got Tennessee covering.
Yeah, same here, man. I think they're gonna smash Virginia, man. It's not gonna even be nice. I think Nico comes in the third quarter, probably like midway through, and does his damn thing, man. So, yeah, I think Milton's gonna have a hell of a season this year. Heupel's a hell of a coach, and let's be honest, how much stuff were we talking about Hendon Hooker prior to him going to Tennessee last year? We just thought he was a good quarterback, but nobody would have ever thought he'd be a Heisman hopeful. Ever.
Right.
So
exactly. No expectations for him. Joe Milton has had all the expectations in the world. Throws like Tarzan, but plays like Jane. Just remember that, Jane.
All right.
So what happened? What you're telling me is that Clemson game did not happen. Is what
it didn't happen.
I'm telling you that the Clemson game is just one game.
He's saying it. Yeah. All right. Well, you know what the good thing is? This is the last show where we get to talk about speculation. Yeah. Because now we'll have evidence the next time we get to chat.
We got evidence, baby.
We're going to see.
We're going to have receipts.
All right.
Kentucky Ball State, man. I'm going to start this one off. Everybody knows Kentucky's going to win this damn game, and it's not going to be pretty. The only thing that I want to see in this game is how does this offense look with Devin Leary? I think he's one of the steals of the transfer portal this year. He has a hell of a guys when it comes to the wide receivers. Varian Brown is outstanding. His slot and Travion Robinson is outstanding as well. I want to see those two. I think both of those guys were freshmen last year. They're both sophomores this year, and they had outstanding seasons last year. So I want to see how Devin Leary kind of gels with his team, but it's all Kentucky. Mm-hmm. They're going to beat the shit out of Ball State.
I got Kentucky rolling. Ray Davis there as well, coming in from Vanderbilt, 1,000-yard rusher.
Yeah, that's the guy I'm thinking about. Yeah.
There you go.
Right. You're right.
Yeah. So
yeah. I'm in agreement with the entire panel on that one. Probably Kchris is going to say something crazy with this aspect, but no, Kentucky should just dominate them. And like I said, Devin Leary, he's got all that experience. He's probably got over 1,000 snaps, 2,000 snaps, and so he should be able to walk in and keep Kentucky rolling, just like they didn't lose Will Levis. Kentucky by 1,000,000.
Yeah,
this is the game where you want to feel like Notre Dame fans feel about Sam Hartman now.
Yeah, that's a good
this
point.
This is that macho game right here, man. All right. The next one, Arkansas versus Western Carolina. I just want to say something about this one. All right. So Western Carolina is a little bit special in my heart. My cousin plays for Western Carolina, but in saying that, Arkansas going to beat the shit out of them. So it is what it is.
So it sounds like
all right, good.
Love you, good. What it is.
Love you, good.
Yeah, that's going to be a whopper right there.
It's going to be a whopper. But
you just want to see KJ Jefferson. This is more about just reps for him. Just getting more used to that. Was it Dan Enos? Mm-hmm. He's getting more. Yeah, mm-hmm. getting actual game reps in that system. That's what that is about. Being able to run that offense and having control of it or whatnot. Hey, while we're at that, hey, stop what you're doing right now. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. We on our road to what I think the next benchmark is
300.
300. Yeah.
Yeah.
So go ahead and like and subscribe and all of that.
Appreciate it, guys.
Sweet. Yeah, that's an easy game, man. I mean, Arkansas is going to roll over them.
Yeah.
It's easy.
Can we just do both of them, Arkansas and Ole Miss? That's just back to back. I think the only thing I actually have a question with Ole Miss on is who their quarterback is going to be.
Who's starting?
I don't believe they named
how many
one
quarterbacks
yet.
are going to play in that game.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if you saw a bunch.
I was about to say, it should be a quarterback by committee. It makes sense in this game. This is a good opportunity to see who's ready because it's Mercer. Mercer is Alabama's dog that they beat all the time too. So
Mercer, you're going to get a nice check though.
Yeah, out there
Oh,
making
fatties.
Georgia. Out there making Georgia. I used to. We won't talk about that. But yeah, I was stationed in Warner Robinson. Mercer's down the street.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Nick, to interrupt, but I see 6 games that we should just go ahead and skip.
Yeah,
Is that
just
okay?
go ahead and
Can we
skip.
just fly right through?
Whoa.
Oh, hold on. Chris wants to talk about Auburn.
Auburn.
Chris wants to talk about Auburn.
Okay.
No, I'm not saying, Chris. I'm not saying like just fully skip. I'm just saying there's really no much analysis.
Oh, no,
the
there's not
question
much to
is
talk
still,
about. I just wanted to
it's
say,
Ole Miss,
Yeah.
Auburn. We're still trying to figure out who the quarterback is. That's the question, and that's kind of it.
Yeah.
Here's
I think the Alabama game, we need to see who's going out on the field. They pulled that our boy Nick Saban, first time in 17 years, no depth chart, right?
Yeah.
Hey,
Saban, baby.
Before we get to that, where's Surfer Boy?
Surfer Boy was in here early. Haven't seen him.
He
in a
was
while.
in here.
So, Surfer Boy, my only thing about the UT Martin game, I know y'all are going to beat them. I know y'all going to go crazy on it. That's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
But my biggest thing with Georgia is simply this. I don't want to see Brock Bowers out there running jet sweeps and stuff like that. I want to see Beck. I want to see him slinging around. I want to see him put up a lot of numbers. I want to see 4+ touchdowns from him through the air. I want to see over 250 yards through the air. I think you will, but I'm just saying that's what I want to see from Beck. I want to see Beck go out there and light it up. A lot of people think there's a lot of people that's talking that like he's better than Stetson Bennett, has more talent, this and that. That's perfectly fine. I want to see it. I don't think that you should go out there and have to use. I mean, obviously, you got a plethora of running backs, so we know you guys are going to run the ball, but I'd like to see him be able to just run a vanilla offense and just light it up tomorrow.
My brother, I don't know if he's going to throw the ball 20 times in this game. I'm really honest with you.
I'm just saying.
Because
6 for 7 in this game.
This is kind of why guys like A.D. Mitchell have transferred, right? Because they have a script and a formula, and it's worked for them very, very well the last 2 seasons. We're only going to open up the offense like that when we need to.
Oh, I'm not saying that they have to open the offense. They can run vanilla stuff. Hell, run exactly what you ran during the spring game.
I think you'll look good. I have no worry. Georgia's earned all the benefit of the doubt from me.
Yeah,
all of it. I think they're going to look great.
I think so too. I think this is a non-factor.
Yeah.
Let's look. Can we? I mean, the rest. I mean, the only other thing to comment on before we get, because the two big games I think we have at the bottom are the Carolina battle and then the LSU Florida State game, which I think we should end on before we get to the Heisman stuff.
Yep.
The only other comment I really have is just Texas A&M. If there's a team that needs to kind of for a PR purposes look good offensively, to me it's this, right? Like they cracked 24 points last year, only a handful of times or 2 or 3 times. This is Connor Weigman there starting. A&M needs to have put up 40-something points and look good and kind of start to put some of those questions to bed about Bobby Petrino. And there's too much talent on that team. The guys are getting older. Evan Stewart should be amazing, and Smith is back. That's a game where I'm like, I don't want to look up while I'm watching some other games and I see y'all are up 21-17 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, it'd be horrible. That'd be Appalachian State-ish.
You see what I'm saying? So that's a game I think of all these teams from a PR standpoint. A&M needs to look good offensively.
And they are playing. Who's that? Yeah, that's going to be Middle. Yeah, that is Middle Tennessee State, right?
No, they're playing New Mexico.
Oh, they're playing New Mexico. Hold on. So who's playing Middle Tennessee?
Bama.
Oh, that's Bama. Wrong team. Sorry about that.
Damn, Nino, how old are you, brother? Your eyes are.
Hey, man.
I know, right?
Nicholas.
No, man.
Nicholas.
Look, man. I was looking at the screen, but I was looking at other stuff too. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's an easy win. That should be easy. All right. We good.
By the way, A&M is favored by 38.
Oh, they ain't gonna get it. They ain't gonna get it.
Ooh.
You say A&M ain't gonna get it by 38?
Nah.
All right, I'll take that. I'll take that bet. We'll talk about it afterwards. What you're gonna have to do?
I don't think so, man.
Let's get to North Carolina, South Carolina. UNC is favored by 2.5 in this game, and I believe game day is there. It's neutral site.
It's a pick'em game then, right? Even game. Oh man, which Spencer Rattler shows up? That's the game. You know, if we get the Spencer that was the last 4 games of the year last year, I think South Carolina has a chance to win this game. This is a damn good game, man. This is a damn good game.
You finally said something that I agree with. It really does depend on Spencer Rattler. I think I'm confident in what Drake May is going to put out there. I know there's going to be a few drives he puts together where he looks spectacular. There's going to be a couple of drives where they just go stale, can't move. They're moving the ball but can't finish, can't get, can't convert on third down. It's too far. They're punting, stuff like that. My biggest thing is can Spencer Rattler mature, take that next step, and have not only pocket presence, but just an understanding of his offense, an understanding of what he needs to do to win that game. He does not have to go out there and be perfect, but he needs to be. He does have to be at least great, and there's a difference. And I think that it's hard to go against North Carolina in this because I just have a feeling. I mean, you guys know because back in the day, y'all used to win with him. But Mac calls is going to call a hell of a game out there. But I like Beamer, man. This is a toss up, though. This is really a toss up.
Yeah, this is a tough.
It's a pick 'em, man. 50-50.
Jay, just to get points out there for Jay, 64.5 over under for this one.
Ooh. That's a good one. That's a good line.
That's not happening.
That's a good line. 64.5, you said, Steven?
64.5.
Gee, so they think this is gonna be a track meet for real.
And the thing is, UNC score. I mean, we know what they do with Drake May, but even early season, both seasons under Drake May, they've come out, 5-6 touchdown passes, right, and really, really humming. Especially the pace they play with. To Jay's point earlier about the clock, how does that factor in? But we also know South Carolina has finished the season on an explosive spree as well. Even in their bowl game loss, that was still a 45-38 game. So they're looking at both these offenses, these NFL evaluators, looking at Spencer Rattler, looking at Drake May. The eyes are on offense in this game.
64.5.
Mm-hmm.
I might take the over on that.
Hey, y'all ain't trying to plug y'all sponsors, man. Y'all ain't plugged y'all betting sponsors.
Well, but those are for like our own channels. So
you can still plug them, boy. You know what I'm saying? The hustle never stops, man. It's
the hustle does never stop. That's a good point.
Oh man, that's like
Steven be on here.
Have like 3 different companies we're plugging.
My brother, I am not under contract with any betting partner at the moment.
Exactly.
Just FYI.
Yeah, I just get a proceed of the profit. So, I mean, look, I'm taking the over on that. 64.5. I think they do it.
You're going over.
I think they do it, man. I
Okay.
think it's
hell nah.
I'm gonna take the over. I got a feeling that these offenses have probably been getting their ass whooped by their defense in practice all summer, all fall, and they just ready to take it out on somebody else for this first game. I think this first game is going to be electrifying.
So how many points overall you think they're gonna score?
He said over.
I said over. I'm gonna say
over, but go ahead.
I'm gonna say like 67 total. 66.
You ain't took your meds today, have you? Obviously, you ain't took your meds today. I can tell that. Man. Look,
man. I can honestly see I could see a 34-30, or you know what I'm saying? I could see a 35-31 or 35. I mean, I could see it. I could see it. You know, I can see it. I
Look,
can see it.
there's only two ways that this game is gonna.
I can see a 35-31.
No, the way I see it is this game is two ways this game ends. Either it's gonna be a 31-17 North Carolina, or it's gonna end up being a 35-31.
Which is over 64 points, Chris.
I just threw numbers out there.
So, Chris, one of your options was over 64
all
points.
right. Okay.
Steve, this Negro just wants to fight.
21.
He just wants to fight with no fact.
24 is what I meant to say. There you go.
Have y'all just learned that Chris just enjoys violence? That's all he enjoys to do is terrorize, especially you two. That's his favorite thing.
You gonna tell me, ooh, you going over 60? I don't know about that one. You ain't take your man today. I think they're gonna win 35-31. Man, that is
60. Week 0 average 65 plays, guys. That is huge.
Huh? Oh yeah.
That's
Good data
huge.
point, Paxton. Good data point.
That's a great data point. Like, yeah, that's something,
team, right? So let's take a look. I'm gonna look. That's crazy.
I don't think either of these defenses are good, though.
I
mean, South Carolina, let's look at their last. I'm just going to give you the last 5 games. So hopefully, maybe Shane Beamer's fixed this in the offseason. Notre Dame scored 45. Clemson scored 30. Tennessee scored 38. Florida scored 38. Vanderbilt scored 38. That's the last 5 games.
Hey, I'm telling you, take the over. Take the over.
So they got a lot of work to do on defense. This is South Carolina.
All right, so how about North Carolina?
So North Carolina, they allowed 28 to Oregon in the bowl game, 39 to Clemson, 30 to NC State, 21 to Georgia Tech, and 34 to Wake. Last 5 on North Carolina side.
Okay. Yeah. So look, points about to be scored. I'm taking the over. On this one. Look, now, Chris, I will agree with you on this. Either it's going to be something close like a 35-31, which is over 64 points, right? Or it's going to be something like 50-something to 7 North Carolina if Spencer doesn't get out of his own head, which we've seen before. We've seen Spencer go on something before where he's thrown 3 or 4 picks in the game, and it just goes downhill from there. But I got faith in Spencer this game. I think it's going to be a very close game. I'm saying 35-31. I don't know who I'm picking though. But yeah,
this game. I want to make one other comment before I pick here. A lot of criticism from people just in the social media sphere about game day picking this location. They're playing in Charlotte. I think this is going to be a great atmosphere. I have a buddy of mine from South Carolina that's going to this game. He's very, very excited, and just being down there recently for Jay and I are out here traveling all over the country for business, and recently being in that region. And one thing, and Jay can agree with me on this, when you start to go to regions, especially down there, and you start to see and hear about some of these games that don't get as much publicity, but the passion is there. And traditions and things of that sort. And I think this is a game where they actually picked the right game to go to. But like, people are like, oh, game day should never go to a neutral site game. I'm like, well, if they had gone to LSU, Florida State, it still would have been the same thing. Like, I don't know where, why the criticism here for week 1 of that, but I think this is going to be a tremendous game. I am going to pick South Carolina to win.
That's what I'm thinking.
I'm going to pick South Carolina to win. I think Shane Beamer is just, with the way he's been recruiting, especially some of these defensive guys, he needs to prove that I think if he's like, hey, we can hold these guys to 30 points, 27 points, Spencer and the boys should be able to take it home from there, especially that receiving core. So, man, I got South Carolina in this game.
I'm going to jump with you, man. I got South Carolina, too. I can't believe you're going against Mac, Stephen. I can't believe you're going against Mac, man.
All like I see it, brother.
That's crazy, man. Mac, man, it's Mac. Mac attack, baby.
Yeah, I got South Carolina too. I said 35-31. I think Spencer's going to get it done. I like Spencer. I do. I like him to see left OU.
Stop saying lies.
I do like him. So I like Spencer.
Cat, go ahead. Go ahead, Jay. I'm sorry.
See, terrorizing y'all is what he loves. So I think this game is going to be a track meet, but at the same time, I think it's going to be fun. It's going to be probably, but besides this LSU Florida State game, we'll talk about next. I think this is going to be the most fun game of the weekend. Between Drake May and Spencer Rattler, it's going to be just back and forth the entire time. We're going to see Beamer Ball versus Macaroni Brown. Let's see if Mac Brown still got it, or if they're going to fall off the cliff like they do every single year. I mean, you Texas fans understand that.
Jay, I would say he never lost it.
What?
Jesus wept.
What did he say?
He said Macaroni Brown never lost it. I'm just going to ignore it and pretend like he didn't say anything. So it's going to be fun. I think North Carolina does pull this out, though. I think North Carolina's better. Yeah. I think Drake May's better than Spencer Rattler.
You stupid.
No, I agree with that. I think Drake May is better. I agree with that comment.
You can keep being stupid, Chris, and think that Spencer Rattler's any fucking good, but I'm telling you right now, Drake May's better than Spencer Rattler. Period.
Jay, I'm gonna walk.
That escalated so quickly.
Wow.
This is sooner on sooner crime.
Jay,
Drake making scramble. Spencer Rattler doesn't know how to do that.
Jay.
That just right there gives me Drake May the edge.
Jay, all I'm gonna say is this right here. All right, Joe Milton, and I'm gonna leave it at that. You're my friend. I don't want to hurt you.
He's better than Spencer Rattler, too.
I don't want to hurt you. Okay. Jay, are we going to do this?
What else is there going to do? You can't give me any type of facts or anything to tell me that Spencer Rattler's better than anybody that you say.
Jay, let me tell you something.
Say Spencer Rattler's better than everybody. You say it.
Jay,
nobody else says it.
Jay,
you do.
Jay,
I'm just going to say. You've been defending that dude for years. I'm just going to tell you right now, my boy. He ain't better than Joe Milton.
Did somebody mute this guy? All I'm going to say is this right here, all right? That you're one of the most eloquent speakers that I've ever met. One of the smartest guys that I've ever met. Well, when it comes to quarterbacks, my God, Jay, I would never let you be an offensive scout for quarterbacks on my team. You would come into the building and I would tell everybody, make sure that when he starts speaking, his mic is off because we
this guy. No, that's what we're gonna do to you. That's what we gotta do to you, my boy. Especially if you mention Spencer Rattler's better than Joe Milton. It's preposterous.
If
we've seen this story, we've seen it.
Come back. 5 games into the season, it's gonna be me and you. Everybody gonna be off, and it's just gonna be me and you. We'll
throw it on my channel, baby boy. We will throw it on my channel, baby boy. Don't worry. We will live stream it on both of our channels. Spencer Rattler is a bum.
Okay. Joe Milton is curbside pickup from 7-Eleven when everything else is closed.
Spencer Rattler is curbside pickup from 7-Eleven when everybody else is closed. Dog, it's going to repeat the same thing you say. It don't matter.
That boy Joe Milton. Hey, listen. Joe Milton walk into the building with BG on, and everybody be like, "You got that Dolce & Gabbana?" Be like, "Nah, this is Dollar General. This is all I got because that's how trash I am. Low quality."
Yes, Spencer Rattler is low quality. Please continue to the next one.
Oh my God. You guys are hilarious. I will say this one thing about Chris. Chris did say that Spencer Rattler was, Patrick Mahomes-ish. Stevie, you remember that? We're going to go to the next game, man. We're going to go to the next game. LSU, Florida State. Jay, since you're so vocal, I'm going to let you start this one off.
All right, so this is game of the week, of course, and rightfully so. These are the two teams that, little preview on this, these are my teams I think is going to make the playoff. I think these two teams have the capabilities. Both of them have veteran quarterback presence. They both have really good defenses and defenders with Jared Verse and Harold Perkins. The secondary, I think that they'll both work through that throughout the season. They both have solid running games that just knows how to run, and their coaches actually know what they're doing. It's going to be a fun game. This is going to be the one, and I'm so glad it's on. I'm glad it's on Sunday. It's the lone game. It's the NFL game for the weekend. It is the one. I love it. I'm gonna be tuned in hardcore. But I'll say this. I've been struggling on picking who can win this game, who's going to actually close it out. But I think that with Florida State being closest to home, I think they edged them in this one, similar to last year. I don't think the mistakes happened that LSU did last season with the kicks and all of that mess. I don't think that happens. I think they both come in buttoned up, but I think Florida State edges it.
Hey, Jay, I got numbers for you again. 56 over and under for this one. 56.
I'm gonna take.
LSU's favored by 2.5.
Yep, LSU's favored by 2.5 on the road, basically by Tallahassee. Because I do think LSU's a better team, but I'll say this then. I think Florida State wins it by 3. They cover the dog spread, and I think they go just under the over-under at 55 points.
You said Florida State?
Florida State. It's a tough game, man. It's a tough game. Florida State thinks 55 points is the combined total. So that's going to be what's that? 20. I wouldn't say 30-25, so that'd be a 5-point game. You know what? We'll go with that. 30-25 Florida State. We'll leave it at that.
I'll jump in next. Last year's game was probably a top 5 game all season. If we go back to that what happened on Labor Day last year. And
yes.
The chaos that occurred in that stadium that night. I mean, how many times were our jaws dropped with
hell of a game?
The
everything
drive and the field goal kicking and Jordan Travis getting his head ripped off by Ali Gay, like still throwing a touchdown pass while he got his head ripped off.
Exactly.
That was a but to Jay's point, Jay said something that I want to just expound on. He said both teams are going to be buttoned up. Both of those teams last year used that game in a very positive way and went on to have very good seasons. Mm-hmm. And I think they both know what's at stake here. From a standpoint of the college football playoffs, this is a rare time. I mean, you don't get too many top 10 matchups, let alone in week 1. And so this is a rare moment where, from a resume standpoint, I know it's week 1, but LSU's coming in here knowing, hey, this kind of screwed us up last year, right? And so if we can get out of our own way and play, way better buttoned up, we feel like we can beat this team. But you're looking at Florida State, and you have guys like Verse, who comes back, who I thought was going to go to the league. You have Jordan Travis. They have multiple top 10 players in the country on that roster.
Johnny Wilson.
So, and if they're in Florida State's looking at this like, hey guys, if we're able to beat LSU, we really got to worry about what Clemson, and our path is set. It's kind of like what Clemson has been doing the last few years when they had Trevor Lawrence and Deshaun Watson. Those guys get a big win early in the year, kind of go through the ACC, and you get to chill. Whereas LSU's going to have a loss somewhere in the SEC. So if they take on another loss here, BK is in a really tough situation having to play this game right now with a 4-team playoff. I think this game would be different if we had a 12-team playoff. Because I think both of these teams are two of the best teams in the country. With all that being said, I think LSU wins this game. I think they're on a redemption tour specifically about this. I've been hearing about Florida State and getting it back in blood from LSU fans since what went down in Louisiana last year. And I think defensively, to Jay's point, they're really going to be buttoned up in this game and give Jordan Travis a hard time. I think it's going to be a really, really close game again. Probably a field goal game. So that 2.5 is something to pay attention to, but I could see a 27-24, 28-24 type outcome in favor of LSU.
Chris, how about you?
LSU by 12. I got LSU that much. See,
Why? I'll let you explain.
Jared Versus, he's on record saying, I want to show every school in the country, everybody that overlooked us, messed up big time. I want the country to realize this team, they're dangerous. what are we supposed to realize? Everybody is already crowning you guys the winners of the ACC, and you haven't even played in the ACC championship game since what, Jimbo left? So my whole thing is that one of these teams has to be kind of the disappointment, this one of the more disappointing teams this year. And my whole thing is, I think that Brian Kelly's a good coach. I think he's gonna come out there with a great game plan. I think Harold Perkins Jr. is gonna get loose. I think he's gonna be in that backfield an awful lot. But I also think that for me, with Jordan Travis, I like Jordan Travis. I like this team. I'm glad Mike Norvell has done what he's done. But for me, I need to see more than just Johnny Wilson. And I think that LSU has the right mix to kind of contain him, keep him under control. And I think that if you do that, I think that you can put yourself in a great position to win this game, because I think defensively, I think LSU is going to be hell. I think at times Florida State is going to look like it's going to be hell as well. But I just think that LSU is the better team. I think they still have more talent, even though I know the recruiting that Florida State has done. But got to give it to LSU. I just think LSU is going to edge them out, and I think that Jaden Daniels is going to have a better game than Jordan Travis.
Two things. So Paxton, John Emery's out. I talked to my LSU people today. They were like, John Emery, this is an annual thing with him and his grades. He'll be back in October. So
Damn.
Is what it is.
Who?
Emery. Maybe sooner, but he's always been a grade thing. But that's why they got the transfers in there. They'll be fine at running back. I'm not worried about that. The Mason Smith thing is a big deal. It kind of shows the change in culture from Coach O, because Coach O would have played Mason Smith this week and then suspended him against somebody else.
Yep.
Y'all know how he would have rolled, right?
He did Texas.
He did that with Michael Divinity Jr. against Texas, and he went off in that game and then sat out the next 3 weeks. So Brian Kelly's actually enforcing rules. My only thing with that though is he wasn't with them last year like that. So they know, like, at this point it's a bonus to me getting that player back. I have my third point is this. I have a question for Jay and Chris. Florida State's last game was against OU in that bowl game. What, positive or negative? I mean, you talk about Jordan Travis, and we know what Johnny Wilson did in that game. What did you guys see from them, though? I mean, is there just with seeing Florida State up and close, do you think that's a team that you guys saw that's like, hey, this is a team that's going to make a run this year, to the college football playoffs, or is that why you're saying it could be a disappointment?
Jay, you want to go first? You want me to go?
I'll lead off. So when I went out there for that game, it was great to see Florida State in person and see us play. And the one thing I noticed about them is it looked like a team that was put together with a bunch of transfers that figured out how to make it work. Now they have an additional year. They had a whole season together to try to button themselves up. And that's why I say coming into this game, they're going to look a hell of a lot more buttoned up in comparison to what they did last season. And last season, they was 10-3. That's huge.
Yeah.
They're going to walk into this game even more buttoned up. I think the difference between Jordan Travis and Jaden Daniels is I think Nussmeier is a slightly better quarterback than Jaden Daniels. Slightly. But I think the experience that Daniels has is why he's going to start, because he'll probably make less mistakes than Nussmeier. So because of that, that tells me the best quarterback's not going to play. I think Jordan Travis has got Jaden Daniels by an inch too. So that's the reason why I really got Florida State. I'm picking them.
I've watched. Go ahead.
Great insights.
I've watched that Florida State OU games 10 times since the game ended. Still, obviously, I know there's some points of 2 plays. Honestly, you could point out the fumble, and then somehow Burroughs got caught on Johnny Wilson on that last play. But at the same time, first off, shout out to my Sooners, Boomer Sooner, horns down. You already know. But I will say, it was a hell of a game that was played, man. Florida State got caught, and they was feeling themselves. They came out there kind of like they did against Louisville, against all the teams that they lost to, they had no business losing to. Sometimes they play down to the level of their competition, and sometimes they just have stalls if some things are not working. They just made plays, and down the stretch, they just made one more play than we did, and that was honestly what it came down to. As bad as a year as we had last year, I'm just not confident that they're going to be able to take that next step and be elite. I think that they're a really good team that could be great, but I don't know if I could truly call them elite. I like Jared Verse a lot, but I think that there's still a lot to tell with them in the ACC. I think that we'll know more about them on this weekend, because you're not going to be able to come out there and be vanilla. You're going to have to play your game.
Mhm.
But I also think that, week 4, week 5, I forget which week, but early in the week, they got to play Clemson. So that
They do play Clemson earlier. You're right.
Yeah, they play Clemson early. So I mean, it's a lot riding on this season for them, and especially Mike Norvell. Now, I'm not going to say Mike Norvell is going to get fired, but at the end of the day, I don't know. It's just not there for me. I don't think that
Can we address Stubby's comment here?
Yeah. I want to kind of
because-
talk to that too. But go ahead.
Yeah,
Stubby.
let's address Stubby's comment here, because he's saying he's saying, based on what I saw from SMU in the Cheese Bowl, they're not one of the very good team, but bowl games are mostly meaningless. I think we have to be subjective with how we look at the bowl games, because not all bowl games are meaningless, depending on what teams have coming back for 2023. For example, I think the Texas-Washington game is actually very insightful based upon what those teams look like in 2023 and who was on the field in the Alamo Bowl. I think you're seeing a similar case here with FSU and OU in terms of what we saw on the field and things that you can take away. I understand the opt-outs are going to impact in terms of...
No, Steven, I'm sorry to cut you off, but that's the thing. Florida State damn near had their entire team out there last year. They had everybody.
Yeah, so
I don't think
we
this
were
can
the
be
ones who had the
dismissed.
opt-outs. We were the ones who was supposed to come in there and get beat by 30 and end up losing by 3 points? That was us. We had the opt-outs. They had everybody. Jared First played in that game. Travis Wilson, Johnny Wilson, everybody that they had, all their players, most if not all of their players.
I agree. That's why we can't do the blanket bowl game opt-out thing. That's my point. Some you got to go by game. If all the players were there on both sides, and players were there that are going to matter into the next year's rotation, then there's something there to take away. I don't care. They played football. Opt-outs matter when it's like, okay, there's the quarterback that we have now wasn't even on the team, the year before, and our other quarterback opted out, and we were running a different offense and stuff. That's where I'm like, all right, we can there's nothing to take away from that. But just what Jay and Chris said alone, that's why I asked that question. The amount of insight they just put forth, that's what we're going to see from Florida State in this game on Sunday, right?
Exactly.
I agree. I'm wholeheartedly.
Honestly, I think it's going to be a hell of a game. I got LSU winning this game, folks.
Okay.
I do. I just think they're gonna bounce back from last year. I think Florida State can lose a game and still win the ACC.
Make the playoffs.
I think LSU has to win this game because they are going to have a loss somewhere in the SEC in the season. So I think they're going to want this game more. I think they're going to come out and take this game. And I think Florida State's going to lose it, but Florida State might run a table throughout the ACC this year. I mean, they have a really good shot. They have a really good team. I'm a Johnny Wilson fan, dude. I mean, just the way he came out in that bowl game was outstanding. But he has to get more consistent as a whole, but I'm a Johnny Wilson fan. That team is, just like Jay said, a bunch of transfers that came together and won 10 games. They went 10-3. This year, those transfers are going to be more solidified and glued together, and those guys are going to be a force to be reckoned with this year. I still see them losing the game. I think LSU takes this by about, I say, 3 points. And I think Florida State goes 10-2 at worst, 11-1 for the season.
Okay.
Heavyweight fight. Can't wait for it.
Me too.
Exactly. All right. We talked LSU. We talked
I think we're on Heisman
Florida
now.
State. Yeah, now it's Heisman picks, man. So I'm gonna start this one off for the Heisman, the preseason Heisman pick, and I'm gonna say I think Caleb Williams is going to win this and be the second player in the history of college football to win the Heisman Trophy twice. And I say that because Caleb Williams has to be freaking outstanding and Superman for USC to win. He is going to have stats like crazy. The offense is going to be catered to him because he is the best player in that team. He's going to be the top pick in the draft this year, barring injury. And I think if he comes out and does what he did last year, I think it's going to be better than last year, to be honest with you. And that defense stinks the way they did against San Diego State. He's going to have to go out there and put up 45 to 50 every week. And I think he's one of the only players in the country that has that is of that caliber to put that amount of points up every week. And I think Caleb Williams wins the Heisman Trophy, second player in history behind Archie Griffin to do it 2 times in his college career.
Wow. Okay.
How about you, Jay?
So it's on me now, man. I have mulled this over tough, and that's the only thing I disagree with you on, Nick. Is one thing. Is that only one thing out of everything you said? Because everything you said is 100% correct. If USC is going to survive, Caleb's got to be him, and Caleb is him. He's going to put up all the numbers. He's going to do everything he did, but he's going to end up just like Tim Tebow did. Get right there, but just not able to get over the edge. And I've mulled this over so many times that whose name is big enough to be outstanding in the game to actually win it? Because as you stated, and that's why I'm gonna be a little long-winded on this. Who else is really Caleb right now? Like, who else in college football is Caleb?
Nobody.
And I don't think you can name anybody. I don't think you can name a single person. So, since that is the case,
Go ahead.
I think we're going to have an outlier. It's going to come out of nowhere.
So you saying, go ahead.
JJ McCarthy.
Out of
nowhere, Michigan's going to make this dude throw the ball a lot, and he's going to somehow throw the numbers up that people are going to. He's my sleeper on the Heisman for some reason. It just feels like they're going to force feed him to get that ball in the air constantly. He's a former 5-star quarterback. I think that it's going to be something stupid, but I think he may actually shock the hell out of us this year. They might throw it.
That's interesting. That's a left field pick there, Jay.
That's a left field pick, but
outside of him, it was a Bama quarterback, or it was Bama quarterback or Drake May. That was my 3.
Yeah.
Whoever Bama throws out there, they're gonna figure it out.
The thing with Drake May is, on an NFL standpoint, he is on Caleb's tier from a tools and stuff. The thing is, he's not. Drake May isn't. He's never been able to elevate the team like that the way Caleb has elevated his teams, even with bad defenses. I think that's the difference. I think Drake May's still going to put up hella numbers, but he's not going to be, he's not going to overwhelm. We've seen them lose shootouts with Drake May. You very rarely see Caleb Williams lose a shootout. The JJ McCarthy thing is fascinating.
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, the JJ McCarthy thing is fascinating to me from the standpoint of the suspensions with the coaches and the things that are going on. And the offensive coordinator, I believe, is out week 1 or something like that. But Michigan, of all the teams, and I said this before on a previous show, this would probably help Jay's point. They're the team that's coming back here that's pretty complete. That's like, yo, we just blew it last year, like ourselves. We got in our own way. So if we just correct a few things, we should be right back, 3rd straight playoffs, and actually finish the job this time. So I think that's really interesting from a JJ McCarthy standpoint. Blake Corum being back is huge. I agree with Paxton, but
that's a good pick.
To Jay's point, though, JJ McCarthy, with the prospect that he was, they're going to be putting more on his shoulders as they did towards the end of last season anyway. So that's interesting. I also have a left field. I have a left field pick too.
Go ahead.
Because the reason why I'm not picking Caleb Williams is you have to be above and beyond to be a repeat guy. And if he is that, then shoot, more power to him. But I know how these voters can be, and I think they can be finicky. My pick is Cade Klubnik from Clemson.
Good pick.
That's my pick. My pick is Cade.
Chris.
My pick is Cade Klubnik from Clemson, former Austin Westlake quarterback. And I have 2 words for Chris, who's left the show. Garrett Riley.
Oh my God.
Garrett Riley with Clemson talent. Garrett Riley had Max Duggan as the Heisman runner-up last year at TCU. I've yet to see a quarterback not cook in his system. And when I look at Cade Klubnik's skill set and kind of, what he looked like in the Clemson offense, even last year when he took over for DJ, I think that's somebody that's another guy, while he's very young and inexperienced, can come out of nowhere and have a huge statistical season because of his running numbers. I think Cade's going to have 600, 700, 800 yards rushing, and he's a guy that they're going to use a lot, from a standpoint around goal line and stuff. So I think from a number standpoint and Clemson's overall record, I'm picking Cade Klubnik to win the Heisman.
That's interesting. Hey, I got one thing to say. Chris, before you get on. So Jay said about it's hard for guys to win it twice. Look at Tebow, and I do agree with that, Jay. When it came to Tebow, the only bounce back that I have on you with that is I think with Tebow, I think people were Tebowed out. They were, he was on TV 24/7. I mean, he just took over college football. He took over TV. He was everywhere, man. I think people were just mentally fatigued of Tebow. The thing about Caleb, I think that might save him is that he's on the West Coast. He's going to be prime time on that coast. A lot of people aren't going to get a chance to see him every week, but they're going to see him just enough to see this guy making highlight plays, a la Reggie Bush when he was in college, right? People stayed up to watch Reggie Bush, and I think people are going to stay up to watch Caleb because people understand he is going to be the number 1 pick next year, barring injury, right? So that's the only pushback I got on that one. But I'm kind of with you though. It's hard to win twice.
And so that would be my next rebuttal with that before I have to actually go jump and get ready to get my kid and also go live again for Sooner stuff. But and Steven, thank you for pointing all that out because I was trying to figure out why I felt that way and you put it together perfectly. That's what it is. This team is so complete for Michigan. There's so many things about them. They should have done so much better than they did. And then they bring him back and everybody else back. It's going to be they're going to put more on his shoulders. But Nick, you made my point about why Caleb won't win it.
Yeah.
Yes, everybody was Tebowed out. Guess who else everybody tired of?
Who?
Lincoln Riley.
You think national people are tired of Lincoln Riley?
Every time you look up, one of his quarterbacks is winning the Heisman. Think you want to keep giving it to him over and over?
What, though? You might have a point with that one. I didn't think about that.
I think that's the other part because, like you said about Tebow, because you're right. A lot of people did get tired of Tebow. Caleb doesn't really get out there on the news. He's very quiet. He's reserved, which I appreciate about him. He steps back, but people kind of tired of Lincoln Riley.
How many games does USC have to win, for Caleb to win the Heisman?
Because
they can't lose more than 2.
No, well, I don't know because last year they lost 3, right?
No, they lost 3 because of the bowl game.
So my only thing with that is any one of these teams that goes and wins the SEC championship. So I just don't see a player on that team right now. Just looking at the rosters now that I can say is bona fide guaranteed to go be a Heisman winner. Georgia did their thing last year. Stetson Bennett had a hell of a season. If anybody were to win it from an undefeated team over the last couple of years, you would think Stetson Bennett. He's the hometown hero, great story, walk on, leads his team to a championship. Now team back in the playoffs, wins another. I mean, he would be. I thought he would have had a shot to maybe do it. Like the story season from Max Duggan last year, but I think they lose 2 games, and I think he still has opportunity to win it this year. I do.
Boy, that's just the Riders. Oh, that's just the
Yeah.
writers trying to pull your heartstrings, man.
All
Let me
right,
tell
let's
you-
get to Chris and
Yeah,
wrap
come
it.
on, Chris. Go ahead, get yours in, man.
Well, since we doing this whole left field thing, I guess I'll join the party or whatnot. You know, I was gonna say Marvin Harrison.
That's a good
I
one.
was even thinking about
That's
Michael.
not a bad one at all.
That's a good one.
That's not a bad pick, Chris.
That's
Yeah, I
a
was
really
thinking
good
about
one.
Michael Penix Jr. Since we going left field, and we still got Jay. Now Jay is rubbed off on Steven, and they both picking bums at quarterback to possibly go win a high. Hell, Shadur Sanders, why not? Shadur Sanders, step up to the plate. Step up to the podium. Let's do it. Why not? Why not?
On that note, I'm out.
Bye, Jay.
Hey,
He really
Jay, have a
said
good night,
Shadur
brother.
Sanders.
Jay, I'll see you
This
tomorrow.
guy.
Colorado might not win 3 games this year. And I'm
You
rooting
gotta
for
at
them.
least the thing that also you gotta win at least 10 games, man. If you,
Yeah.
Come on now.
Hey,
We
no,
know that.
No, you don't.
We
No,
know
you
that.
don't, because Lamar didn't have to win 3 games.
And neither did
I
Johnny
like
Football.
They won 11
Lamar won like
actually.
7.
They won 11 that year, if I'm correct.
Man, boy.
I think they did win 10 or 11 that year. Johnny Football and RG3, I think, were the ones that didn't win.
I think they won
No,
9
Johnny-
those years.
Yep,
Johnny,
they won
no,
9.
I think they were
10 and 2 or were they 9 and 3?
They were like 10. Yeah, no, they won 10 games.
Okay.
Yeah.
See?
But I know
See?
RG3 won like 9 games. I'm pretty sure
But it
that
was
his
like
team
Baylor.
lost 3.
Hey, don't be hating on my boy Shadur. You know what I'm saying? For real.
Nobody's hating on him. It's just, they got me and you at left tackle and left guard.
They got Jay, aka Joe Milton, at quarterback, right? We ain't with it.
Here we go.
That's our backup.
Here we go.
Hey, Jay, before you go, Lincoln Riley couldn't even make magic out of Joe Milton. Go ahead and leave. Drop the mic on you on that one. Go ahead and leave. Get out of here.
The mic didn't even go nowhere. That's the
Yeah.
problem. The mic didn't go nowhere.
What's up, Steven?
Go ahead and wrap this. We got our picks in. We've now gone off.
Chris
the
is
rails.
going off he's going off the reservation today, man. Hey, folks, thanks for tuning in. SEC Connect, the 4 of us here. Ty couldn't make today. Fun show. I hate Ty missed this one today. But look, man, join in next week. Great reviews and previews for the week 2 matchup. So nice conversation next week. Thanks for the conversation, fellas. Talk to you guys next week. And on that note, we out, man. And this horn's always up over here. Bye-bye.
Hey, put Boomer in the chat.
Ball's back.
I'm about to end the broadcast in your ass.